We check the general overall condition of the body of the vehicle to make sure everything is properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken. We look underneath, make sure there's no loose hanging wires or debris and no leaks. We come to our clearance lights at the top, properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, clean, amber in color. Next, we come to the windshield, properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken. The windshield seal is properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken. The windshield wipers are properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, firmly pressed against the windshield. Next, we come to our mirror here. And our mirror bracket is properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken. The mirror itself is properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, and is properly sealed. Come around to our headlights. They're properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken. This light is a combination light of high beam, low beam. It's clear, clean. Our turn signal here, as well as here. They're both properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken. Proper color amber. On the side here is the marker light, properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken. Clean, proper color amber. Next, we go to the hood here. Raise the hood. Walk around, come to this side of the engine first. First, we check the general overall condition of all hoses and wiring to make sure that they're both properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not leaking, and that the wires have no cuts or frays. Then we proceed up to the coolant reservoir here. It's properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, and not leaking. We have our cap, make sure it's properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not leaking. We make sure that the fluid is at proper level, above minimum or at max. Then we follow this hose all the way down through the engine compartment area to the water pump. The water pump is properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not leaking. On the front, there's a pulley. That water pump, that means it's belt driven. The belt is properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken. No cuts, rips, or frays. And when pushed in the center, it has no more than 3/4 inch of play. Next, we come out and we check our alternator. Our alternator is properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken. Next, we come around to see to the rear of the alternator. And in the rear, we want to check to make sure that our wire is connected to the back of the alternator. Get down in there. The wires on the back of the alternator are properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken. No cuts or frays, and not damaged. If we look on the front of the alternator, it's belt driven. The belt is properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, no cuts, rips, or frays, and when pushed in the center, has no more than 3/4 inch of play. We walk around to the driver's side of the vehicle. And again, we want to do this like we normally do, left to right, top to bottom. We come here. We have our oil dipstick. It's properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken. We check the oil. We want to pull out the dipstick, reinsert it. Pull out the dipstick, wipe it off, reinsert it, pull it out again, and check the level. It should be above minimum or at max. Then we proceed to the rear back here. We have our air compressor. Our air compressor is properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken. It is not leaking, and it is gear driven. Right down below the air compressor, here, we have our power steering pump. It's properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not leaking, and it is also gear driven. We want to come back out, check our power steering reservoir. It's properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not leaking. We don't have a dipstick, we have a sight glass here. We want to make sure it's above minimum or at max. Next, we come to our steering gearbox and hoses. Make sure the gearbox is properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, not leaking, and that the hoses are properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, and not leaking. And also they have no cuts, bumps, or abrasions. 3-piece steering linkage, 1, 2, and 3. We want to make sure that our pitman arm, drag link, control arm, and also you can go down here to the lower control arm, make sure they're all properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, secured by nuts, bolts, and cotter pins. Then we want to go down inside out, go to our spring mount in the front and in the rear. Make sure they're both properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken. Go to the leaf springs themselves. Make sure they're properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, straight, not bent, and no scissoring. Go to our U-bolts, one here and one here. Make sure they're properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, and not loose. If they were loose, underneath here, you'll see your bolts will be loose. You'll see shiny metal. Next, we go to our shock absorber. Our shock absorber is properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, secured with bolts and rubber bushings at top and bottom, and it is also not leaking. We go to our air holes, brake holes, and brake lines. Make sure they're properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken. No cuts, bumps, or abrasions, and not leaking. Go to our brake chamber. Make sure it's properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, and not leaking. Here we have our push rod and our slack adjusters. Make sure they're properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, straight, not bent, and when pulled by hand, should have no more than 1 inch of play. Then we go inside here to our brake drum. Our brake drum is properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, free of oil, grease, and debris. Our brake shoes or brake linings are both properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, free of oil, grease, and debris. It must have a 1/4 inch of pad. We go to the inside and outside of the tires, and along with the face of the tires and tread. Next, we check the inner, outer face and the tread of the tire to make sure that they're properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, no cuts, bumps, or abrasions, and it's evenly worn and has at least 430 seconds of tread depth and it's not leaking. Check the rim. Make sure the rim is properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, and has no welding. Check our lug nuts to make sure they're all present and tight. If they were loose, you will see a rust trail or shiny metal. We have our hub oil seal, properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, filled to the proper level, and it's not leaking. And you go into your holes here and look for your valve stem. The valve stem is properly secured, not cracked, damaged, or broken, straight, not bent, has a metal cap, and is not leaking. Here's where we'll check our tire pressure with a tire gauge.